Your children aren't included in our order, my mother stated, pushing over napkins as my sister's girls opened their $65 pasta and dessert dishes at the family gathering. Her spouse chipped in. Be thankful for the invitation. I simply murmured, understood. Once the server came back, I rose and declared, all right, gather round, because I need to tell you about the night I finally drew a line in the sand with my own family. You know that feeling when you've been taken for granted, used, and silently disrespected for years. What if I told you that the breaking point wasn't some huge blowout, but a stack of napkins and 2 kids' meals? Because that night, I realized my family wasn't just taking my money, they were stealing my peace, and I decided, enough was enough. My name's Chris, I'm 34, a middle kid, and apparently, the family's resident problem solver and wallet. I teach 9th grade algebra at a public high school, and honestly, I love a predictable schedule, clean whiteboards, and a good, cheap coffee. I've got 2 amazing kids, Max, who's 9, and Lily, who just turned 6. Their mom and I split a few years back, but we co-parent like a well-oiled machine, shared calendars, alternating weekends, a spreadsheet for every expense. We make it work. In my family, I'm the numbers guy, and somehow, that translates into the guy who's always good for it. My older sister, Jen, she's the golden child. 2 perfect girls, a shiny SUV, and an Instagram feed that makes grateful sound like a cult slogan. Her husband, Trevor, he sells solutions, whatever that means, for a company that pays him in logo emblazoned jackets. My mom, she floats between baking advice and deep moral lessons, depending on the day. And Dad, he mostly watches sports with the volume down low and says, don't start. I'm not dramatic. I just like things that add up. 8 slices of pizza, everyone takes 2, it balances. A receipt says what it says, end of story. That's why I got so good at living small, at knowing the price of milk, the exact time the laundry room is empty. My kids and I, we make pancakes on Sundays and pretend they're math problems. If Dad flips 3 pancakes per minute, how many pancakes before Lily starts eating the chocolate chips from the bowl? It's our thing. Family reunions used to be at my grandparents' house. Plastic tablecloths, deviled eggs, some aunt crying in the driveway. Classic. But this year, Mom booked a fancy restaurant. Grandpa's knees, she said, and she wanted those picture-perfect moments, the kind where everyone looks like they taste old money. She sent out the invite, a detailed PDF agenda. Arrive 5:45, group photo 6:10, dinner 6:30, cake 7:20. Smart casual, children welcome. There was even a line about family style to prevent overordering and a winky emoji. My blood pressure probably went up just reading it. I dressed like a teacher, trying a little too hard not to look like a teacher. Clean shirt, the one belt that wasn't peeling. Max wore a dinosaur shirt under his sweater, convinced it was a clever disguise. Lily insisted on her sparkly shoes because restaurants like sparkle, Daddy. We packed crayons, apple slices, and I promised them bread. Bread always seals the deal. We got there early because I'm allergic to being late. The place was all white tablecloths, servers carrying 3 plates per hand like it was magic. Mom waved us over to the long table like a TV host doing a big reveal. Look at you, she cooed, air kissing my cheek. Teacher chic. Jen glided in 2 minutes later, daughters in matching bows, Trevor behind them with that smug grin, the kind of guy who thinks valet parking is a personality trait. He clapped me on the shoulder. Professor Chris. Just Mr. I corrected, a reflex. The waiter did his spiel. Family-style starters, entrees curated for variety, and then kids' boxes with pasta, fruit, dessert, and a craft element. He smiled like he loved his job. I believed him. But as he talked, Mom slid a stack of napkins towards my end of the table. She fanned them out, right in front of Max and Lily. We didn't order for your kids, she said softly, like she was doing me a favor. They can nibble from the mains. We don't want to spoil their appetites. They're not boys. I blurted, a quick habit. One of them is Lily. Mom fluttered her hand. You know what I mean. Jen leaned in towards her girls. Guess what? She whispered, loud enough for the whole table. Surprise boxes with desserts. The girls squealed. Trevor drummed the table with his fingers, a percussive approval. The waiter returned with 2 cardboard carriers, shaped like little houses. He set them down in front of Jen's kids. 2 kids' packages, he said. $65 each. He turned his polite face to me. Should I bring 2 more? I opened my mouth, but Mom's hand moved faster. She nudged the napkins closer to Max and Lily, like she was dealing them a different kind of meal. No, we'll share, she told the waiter. We're a sharing, caring family, Trevor added, without even looking at me. Be grateful they were invited. He said it like a joke. It wasn't. The back of my neck warmed. Max tugged my sleeve. Are napkins food? Not yet, buddy, I said. The table got loud in that way families do, stories layering over stories. The waiter floated in and out with plates, salad bowls, baskets of bread. My kids reached carefully, said please, said thank you. They drew a maze on the paper kids menu that wasn't meant for them. Jen's girls unwrapped their boxes like presents, and everyone just nodded, like this was totally normal. The first real trigger wasn't the napkins. It wasn't even Trevor's, be grateful. It was the moment Mom caught the waiter's eye when he hovered with the black leather check presenter, like a bird waiting to land. She tipped her chin at me, the way people gesture at a trash can when they want you to know where to put things. Chris will settle, she said, light, like she was doing me a kindness. He's our numbers man. The waiter looked at me. I looked at my kids, and something in my chest clicked. It wasn't later. It was now. I didn't stand up. Not yet. I just put a flat palm on the table, felt it steady under my hand. I said the quietest thing I've said in years, mostly to myself. Copy that. And when the waiter returned, I was ready to say something I'd avoided for a decade. I didn't become the family ATM on purpose. It happened slowly, like dishes piling in a sink. You finally notice, and it's not one plate, it's all of them. When I was 15, Mom asked if I could float Jen $40 for a formal dress. You're responsible with your allowance, she said. You'll get it back Friday. Friday stretched into. I thought you understood what family means. And I learned that in our house. Borrow me meant don't ask again. At 17, I tutored neighborhood kids, $20 an hour, cash. Mom bragged about Jen being so generous with her time, helping the younger girls with makeup for dances. Meanwhile, I handed Jen my cash when she came home crying because the mall wouldn't let her hold a tab. I told myself I was the nice one. It's easy to be generous when you're a kid who thinks $20 is forever. By 22, I was student teaching, driving a car that clicked when it turned, picking up shifts at a bookstore just to pay for gas. Jen called me from the mall. I need help, she said. It's an emergency. I pictured a flat tire. Nope. It was a designer diaper bag she had to get for a friend's shower. We'll split it, she said. It'll be from both of us. Funny thing about splitting. I paid at the register, and she posted a photo of my sweet find with a caption about adulting. I married young. We were broken that way you are when your entire kitchen is hand-me-downs and your pantry is 6 different kinds of pasta. When Max was born, Mom showed up with groceries and told everyone she was keeping us afloat. The receipt on my counter said otherwise. I'd paid. She just picked them out. Jen had her first daughter around then. The whole family moved in orbit around that baby. I didn't resent the baby. I resented the orbit. Every week, it included me when there was a bill and excluded me when there was credit. I kept telling myself it would even out. I believed in math. I believed if I kept track and kept calm, the universe would balance the numbers. Here's a list I once promised I wouldn't write, and then wrote anyway. 10 airport runs in 1 year. You're already up early. Mom said you're a morning person. 3 last-minute dog sits. We forgot you can't bring dogs to wine country. $250 for a family fundraiser table Jen didn't want to bother other people about. For $180 over a summer for camp snacks, when camp turned out to be their backyard and snacks were organic pouches with adjectives that sound like personality traits. $90 here, $60 there, $35 because it's tacky to ask a server to split, and I'm so good with calculating tip. The asks got smarter, less obvious, less traceable. Can you just grab it? You're already at the store. You like doing this stuff. I became the person who likes to cover things. The divorce didn't help. It made me a softer target. People see a single dad and assume he's collecting handouts or that he owes gratitude for being included. I talk less at gatherings. I kept Max and Lily close. I cut coupons from an app, made extra rice and called it Crispy Rice Night, so it sounded like a choice. Numbers still held me up. I could open my bank app and see that I wasn't crazy. I could scroll through charges and name every dollar. Then there was Trevor. He arrived in the family like a seminar on value. He used words like leverage, asset, cost center. The first time I asked him to watch Max for an hour while I ran to school to fix a projector the principal swore was life or death, he said yes. Then he texted me the next day. No stress either way. Shoot me $40 when you can. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. He sent a Venmo request with a handshake emoji. The note said, time is value. Mom defended him. He's just organized, she said. You could learn a thing or two. It takes guts to ask for what you're worth. It also takes guts to be family without invoices, I said. She sighed, like I was the slow student. You're always so literal. I teach equations, I said. Being literal is my job. When Mom announced the reunion dinner, I watched the words she chose. Adults $70, kids $65. But let's not get fussy. Family style makes it simpler, she added. We'll do boxes for the girls because they're picky. And then, almost as an afterthought. Chris, bring crayons for your two. I asked if I should order boxes for Max and Lily. Let's see how they do with the mains, she wrote. We don't want extra charges. A week before the dinner, Trevor sent me a friendly reminder request for $18.72, labeled apps from last time. Your share. Last time was a barbecue at my parents' place where the apps were chips and salsa from a bulk store purchased by me. I didn't pay, but I also didn't fight. I told myself I'd draw the line at the restaurant, calmly, like a person reviewing a proof. No yelling, no lecture, no math lesson. Just a simple sentence. Meanwhile, the small humiliations kept their drip. Max asked why his cousins have restaurant boxes, and he doesn't. I said, we do family style. And he said, is family style when you don't get your own? Lily asked if napkins are just very flatbread. I laughed because if I didn't laugh, I'd throw something. The day of the reunion, I packed the kids' bag like a field medic. Apples, crayons, stickers, the emergency granola bar that tastes like sawdust but saves a meltdown. I dressed us like we were trying to disappear in a nice place. I told myself again, one sentence. You can say one sentence. We walked in. Napkins slid. Be grateful. Boxes unwrapped. The waiter's eyes flicked to me for direction, like I was the sane adult in a play about people pretending money was feelings. And then Mom said it. Chris will settle. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't rise. The math finally balanced in my head. Years of small bills against one small boundary. I waited for the waiter to come back, and I decided to put the check where it belonged. The room didn't change noise. It changed pressure. You could feel everyone's attention lean, even without their eyes moving. When the waiter returned with that black folder tucked under his arm, I stood up so he could hear me cleanly. Not dramatic, just enough to not be another whisper at the table. Can you split the bill by who got served? I asked. He blinked, then nodded, like a man who'd been waiting his whole shift for someone to say a normal sentence. Mom laughed, that bright, brittle laugh people use when they need witnesses. Oh, Christopher, it's one bill. We always do one bill. Aunt Karen chimed in. We trust you. You're the math teacher. Trevor leaned back, an arm over the chair, like a king in a discount painting. Buddy, don't be that guy. I pointed gently, with an open hand, toward the kids. 2 kids' boxes were served at that end, I said. Max and Lily weren't served those. We shared the mains. We'll pay for what we ate. Jen's smile thinned. Chris, this is tacky. It's accurate, I said. Mom's mouth made a small, oh, like a fish discovering glass. This family doesn't nickel and dime. This family has been nickel and diming me for a long time, I said, each word a small block you could stack. I'm done with that. The waiter hovered, a careful bird. I can itemize, he said. No problem. Don't you dare. Mom told him, cheerful poison. We're together. Please do, I told him, by what was actually served. He looked between us, the way a person looks at 2 roads and chooses the one with streetlights. Yes, sir, he said to me, and disappeared. A quiet folded over the table like a perfectly ironed napkin. Jen whispered to Trevor, not that quietly. He's making a scene over pasta. Trevor, still leaning, gave me the smirk he saves for teachable moments. Look, man, last month, we washed your kids so you could run your emergency to school. Did I send a Venmo? Sure, but it's all family. It evens out. You sent an invoice for watching your nieces and nephew, I said. You also ate my Doritos and took my last Gatorade. A few cousins laughed into their water. Mom tried to pivot. Chris, be grateful you were invited. There it was. The line. I looked at her, then at Max and Lily, who were coloring a cat that looked like a potato. Stop saying that to me, I said. I'm your son, not a guest. The waiter returned with 3 black folders. One in front of my parents, one in front of Jen and Trevor, one in front of me. He set them down with the care of a surgeon. I split based on the items I saw delivered, he said. 2 kids' boxes went here. He tapped near Jen's elbow. Everything else is grouped accordingly. I can adjust if needed. Jen opened her folder like it might explode. This is, she started. $1.98 for pasta. And Trevor, why does it say 65 twice? Trevor squinted like numbers were an offense. Kids' packages, he said. It says so right there. Mom opened hers. $224. She stared at the sheet like it had personally insulted her. We hardly ate. Dad coughed into his napkin and looked at me like I was an umpire. I opened mine. $39 before tip. 2 sodas, a plate the kids actually ate, and a side of vegetables they mostly ignored. I slid my card in and closed the folder. Mom's voice sharpened. Put that away. No, I said. You're embarrassing yourself, she hissed. I'm not embarrassed, I said. I'm correcting bad math. Aunt Karen tried to lighten it. It's just dinner, honey. It's not, I said. It's a pattern. Jen's cheeks went bright. You're punishing my kids. My kids were given napkins, I said. They're fine. Trevor leaned forward, elbows on the table, in his "we're having a man-talk" pose. This is petty. This isn't about revenge, I said, steady. This is about closure. I'm done being the person you assume will pay because I know what 8 times 15% is. The waiter took my card with a small nod, like two people sharing a joke no one else gets. He moved to Jen. She slid her card in with a shaky inhale. Trevor added his with the flourish of someone who thought the flourish counted as money. Mom didn't move. Your father and I, she started. We'll pay for what you ate, I said. Like everyone. She stared at me. I didn't look away. I love my mother. I also love my kids. Loving both at the same time just means saying no to one of them sometimes. When the waiter left, Max whispered, "Did we do something wrong?" "No, buddy," I said. "We're doing something right." No one wanted cake anymore. The group photo slot at 610 ghosted past us. People gathered coats like shields. The cousins kept their eyes on their shoes. Jen muttered, "Wow," like a prayer that didn't reach heaven. I signed my slip, tipped the waiter like a person who's watched people carry more than just plates, and stood. "From now on," I said to the table, "I pay for what I order and who I bring. That's it." Mom opened her mouth, closed it, then turned to look for a camera that wasn't there. I helped Max and Lily into their jackets. We walked out into the kind of evening that smells like someone else's dessert. My phone buzzed in my pocket like a trapped bee. I didn't look. The air felt like math done cleanly. The car hadn't even left the parking lot before my phone lit up like a slot machine. "Jen, you humiliated me." "Mom, call me Trevor." "Not cool, man. We're not your ATM. Aunt Karen." "Sweetheart, I think you overreacted, but we love you." I put the phone face down in the cup holder. "Chocolate or vanilla?" I asked. "Chocolate," both kids said. We got milkshakes at the drive-thru with the big neon ice cream cone. I told the kids we were celebrating surviving the fancy restaurant. They clinked paper cups and declared it an official holiday. At home, after showers and pajamas and one more page of Twice Upon a Time, I sat on the couch and opened the family group chat. The messages stacked. "Mom, I don't know who you think you are." "Mom again, I have done everything for you." "Jen, as a mother, I can't believe you'd make dinner about money." "Trevor, a Venmo request for $22.40, labeled bread plus shared apps." I typed, deleted, typed, deleted. Then I wrote one clear message. "New policy for me. No group bills. No, we'll settle later. No babysitting invoices. I'll pay for what I order and who I bring. If it's a real emergency, call me. If it's not, budget." I put the phone down. It buzzed so much it migrated across the table like a little bug. I flipped it into Do Not Disturb and wrote a sticky note in block letters. "You're allowed to say no." I stuck it to my laptop because, yes, I'm corny, and also because that's how I remember things. Morning came. The kids ate cereal with heroic amounts of banana. I checked my email. One from Trevor with the subject line, "Friendly reminder," attaching an Excel sheet labeled Running Totals. I didn't open it. I archived it. I took the kids to school and daycare, waved at the crossing guard, and felt something in my chest that tasted like the aftertaste of saying the right thing. At 10:12, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Again. At 10:20, she left a message that sounded like a speech she'd practiced in her car. "Christopher," she began, which is how I know I'm in trouble. "I don't know what got into you. You made me look like a fool in front of my own mother. Your sister is devastated. Trevor is hurt. Be the bigger person. Apologize and I will forgive you." I listened to it twice and heard the line in the middle where she said she would forgive me. I didn't think I needed forgiveness for asking to pay my own bill. At lunch, I microwaved leftover chili in the math department lounge and told myself not to check my phone. I checked it. Jen had posted a story of her girls in matching pajamas with the caption, "Protecting their joy." Trevor posted a boomerang of a wallet snapping shut with the text, "Boundaries go both ways." I muted them both. There was a small pleasure in pressing mute. It felt like turning down a radio that's only static. After school, I graded quizzes at my kitchen table. Lily made a fort out of couch cushions. Max asked if decimals are just tiny fractions that got squished. I told him yes, and we high-fived. The doorbell rang. Mom, holding a tin of cookies like a peace treaty. I didn't invite her up. We talked in the entryway, with the giraffe from outside tickling my ankles. "Let's reset," she said. "Family movie night Saturday. I'll make lasagna." "No thanks," I said. Her eyes flashed. "Don't be ridiculous." "I'm not," I said. "I'm choosing." She tried the memory card. "Do you remember who paid for your braces? Who drove you to tutoring? You act like we never did anything for you." "You were my parents," I said. "That wasn't a loan. And none of that means I owe you for the rest of my life." She lowered her voice. "Your sister has a lot on her plate." "So do I," I said. "2 kids, 1 salary. I teach, Mom, not crypto." She lifted the tin. Cookies. Take them to Jen's. She likes being grateful, I said. Her mouth tightened. Be grateful you were invited, she said, out of habit. Stop saying that, I said. I'm your son. She left the cookies on the floor by my door like a package no one wanted to sign for. I left them there until the kids went to bed, and then put them in the freezer, because I'm not above eating rage cookies later. The week tried me in small ways. Aunt Karen texted, your uncle can't get his iPad to work. Can you swing by? We'll feed you lasagna. I said, I charge $90 per hour for house calls, with a smiley, then followed with, just kidding. No, sorry. It felt good to be unserious and serious at the same time. Jen emailed me an invoice, an actual PDF titled Babysitting Balance, Family Rate, for $160. There were line items that were not real. One said, watching Max while Chris got a haircut. Which was funny because Max was with me at the haircut, asking the barber questions about clippers. I replied, no. That's it. Just no. The quiet parts of my day got louder. I made a new sub-account titled Kids Only. I moved $100 on payday. Not much, but enough to feel like I was choosing my own invoice. I booked the kids into a Saturday community center day camp for the weekends I used to rely on help. It was $35 each, and they came home smelling like gym mats and pride. Max learned to play foosball. Lily learned that whistles are very loud. Mom texted pictures of lasagna from movie night, like the food itself would lure us. We missed you, she wrote. It's not the same without your giant bowls. I stared at the photo and thought of my grandmother's mixing bowls that she gave me last year. They'd lived at Mom's house since, because she said she'd keep them safe. I texted back, please send Grandma's bowls home with me next time you're by. She sent a thumbs up. No words. On Thursday, Grandpa called. He's quiet, but he doesn't pretend. You okay? He asked. I am, I said. Good, he said. Your grandmother says you were right. About what? About the waiter, he said. I laughed. Friday after school, I asked the kids what they wanted for dinner. Breakfast, Lily said. We made pancakes for dinner, measured flour like a lab experiment, and did fractions with measuring cups. Max poured the batter in the shape of the number 8 and yelled, infinite pancakes. We ate at the table with the good napkins I bought on sale years ago, the ones we use when we feel fancy. No one sent me a bill for using them. The family chat slowed to a simmer and then to a weird, polite quiet. People asked if I was coming to things for the first time, like I actually had a choice. I said no a lot. I said yes to things that didn't require a wallet. I walked the kids to the park on Sunday mornings instead of driving across town for brunch where the kids' menu is $14 for a dry waffle and a sticker. A small package appeared on my doormat a week later. No note. Inside, wrapped in crinkled tissue paper that smelled like Mom's spice cabinet, were my grandmother's bowls. I washed them and made popcorn in them that night. The kids said the bowls were too big for popcorn, which meant they were perfect. Not everything was easy. Jen sent me a midnight text one night. Are we good? The kind of text that isn't a question, it's a trap. I typed, pay your bills. Don't send me invoices for being an uncle. Don't expect napkins to be meals for my kids. I deleted it. I typed, we can be if you stop expecting me to be your budget. I sent that one. She responded with a single word. Wow. I let it float there. The next morning, I took the kids to school and thought about how weird it is that the world doesn't blow up when you set one boundary. I'd been bracing for a storm. Turns out the storm was mostly a group chat and some awkward silence at a table we don't own. Saturday, we went to the library. Max checked out a book about bugs. Lily checked out a book about a bunny that learns to say no. At bedtime, Lily asked, is no a mean word? It's a true word, I said. It makes room for the yes you want. She nodded like that was dessert. So, tell me, have you ever had to draw a line with family like this? What would you have done in my place? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear your stories.